Let's see if this baby's working. Let's see if this baby's working here. Come on, baby. All right, there we go. I can't believe it's working. Well, let's get started then, shall we? Here we go. Here we go. Where are you? Where's Rob? There's Eno. There's the open. Everything is coming together. Why is this working so well? Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, we will have a whole bunch of Trump attempted assassination stuff to play as well, but I wanted to get together with Rob Eno. Rob Eno is a guy I have known ever since I got into radio, and he was a local blogger, Republican activist. He's like the guy, he's Mr. Election Night. He's the guy you want on your panel on election night because he knows everything. He knows the way people vote and he's like a total election geek. And he he got drafted into the bigs. A couple of national platforms brought him up, and now he's with the Blaze Media. He's a local Massachusetts guy. Great guy, just a great guy and interesting guy. And a guy with a lot to say and a guy who knows a lot about state politics. But I wanted to just go over with him some of the realities of what happened at the Massachusetts convention. Now, if you don't live in Massachusetts, it still applies to you because just the bureaucracy of politics and events and the rots that happen. If you live in a blue state, well, then maybe you're getting familiar with this, that these institutions are just rotting away because progressivism does nothing but kill institutions. So here we go. We're going to start here with my friend Rob Eno. And then I'll see you in a minute. I wanted to play the video. For those of you watching the video, I can play it. If I play sound with it, it goes crazy. So it's a wash. I tried. We're using it. Maybe I'll upgrade at some point to StreamYard. We can do that as well. But I can play the video. I just can't sync it up with Rob. But for those of you watching, here's me, Tom Shattuck, and the managing editor of the Blaze, Rob Eno. So I talked yesterday with Alice about the disaster that was the MassGOP convention in Worcester. It was just a total nightmare. The thing went sideways in so many ways, just organizationally, process-wise. There was no direction. When it started to collapse, there was no contingency. Nobody had any information. All it was is Jess Machado and Jack Gately really texting and live streaming what was going on, and that's the only direction anybody had went there. Well, I blame somebody for this. I blame somebody for the state of the current Republican Party in Massachusetts in the total disarray, in incompetence. And the person I'm blaming is a humble boy from Lowell, Massachusetts, who went on to become a political mover and shaker in the state, and a guy who knew where all the votes were, a guy who knew what district did what, and what county, where the votes were in this county, and GOTV stuff, and a guru when it came to stats and politics and how things work in a state, a master of process. And of course, the big leagues called him up and right out of Massachusetts. And that man I'm blaming is the managing editor of The Blaze. His name is Rob Eno. Rob, welcome back.
Oh, you're too kind. It's all my fault. I escaped to freedom, and it's my fault.
I know. You really did.
Up there, half of
I was
the Republican
down in Worcester, but I didn't even go in. I just was there like before to check up some of the parties and say hi. Rob, I'm not even really kidding about that. There's been such a brain drain. Yeah, John was up there from the state. The people who knew where the bodies were buried, who knew political history, who knew how to win elections, local elections, school boards. You're freaking gone now. And now there's a lot of people who have the right intentions, but essentially are running Facebook or Twitter campaigns all the talent, too much of the talent is just out of the state. I can't believe how bad it's gotten. In this event, this Saturday, was an absolute disaster in Worcester. Rob, I know that you've got people all over the Commonwealth still who witnessed this thing and were victim to it. What the hell happened?
Well, it starts at the beginning, right? I don't know if so about 2 weeks ago, I saw a post from the Massachusetts Republican Party that had a convention center that was not the DCU center and a fake DCU logo. And they were using it to hype the convention. So I called it out on my Facebook page, and much discussion was had. And somebody who is a state committee person asked me, so to what end are you doing this? This is somebody that's also upset at me because I was against the Iran war. But to what end are you, why are you doing this? And I said, because if you can't block and tackle the small things, you can't get the big things right.
Yeah.
It does not take any, and they're like, no, it's the DCU Center. I'm like, no, here's all the pictures around the DCU Center that I took from Google Maps. None of them look like this. There's a 5.5-foot flag stuck in the middle of a brick. It's definitely AI.
Yeah.
Right? And it's boomers, and they get fooled with AI all the time. Yep. Sorry for your boomer audience. I love my boomer audience, but they get faked with AI all the time.
Sure.
And I just said, this is going to be a train wreck. And then on Saturday, I start hearing stuff, right? I've got people there, and it took hours for people to get in the line. Apparently, the volunteers messed up the badges or something, is something that I'm hearing from people close to the Massachusetts Republican Party. So, of course, they're trying to blame volunteers and not their organizational skills. But it's not just that. From what I've heard, there are people that showed up that had paid their delegate fee.
Yes.
This was the Herald reported this, that had paid their delegate fee, that had tried to call to make sure that their delegate fee was thing because it showed that they hadn't, even though the check was cash. They showed up. They couldn't get in.
Yep.
They're blaming ex officio members for showing up late for the whole, they couldn't figure out who was actually supposed to vote, who wasn't supposed to vote, all of that stuff. That's not what happened. These things have been held for over 160 years, right? The Republican Party started in 1850, and Massachusetts was one of the first states that it was in. We've been having conventions for a while in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts with the Republican Party, and they knew how to run. They knew how to run them. From what I understand, is Amy Carnevale's team had nobody with institutional knowledge, and decided to do this on their own because they didn't like the people with institutional knowledge. Right? Like that is, for all, you'll remember Jim Lyons got the chairmanship. The Baker people pulled the money from him. So there was money, there was a deficit, there was all these things. That's their big thing. We had a $500,000 debt. I'm like, but how much money did Jim raise? I mean, raising $20 million and having a $500,000 debt at the end of the thing, I don't know if that's what the numbers are. That's different than paying yourself $500,000, and that's why the debt's there, right? And there's lawsuits and things like that that's overgoing. But everybody says that they actually ran a convention during COVID, in 2022, right at the tail end of COVID, when Massachusetts was still a hive of scaredy cats. Thank God that Charlie Baker was governor. So one of the good things that he did was not shut that entire state down like other states that are blue states.
He tried, Rob.
They ran a good convention. They ran a very good convention. People got there. People came. They went on time. Like, these aren't, you see the national convention last 5 days, highly produced. But during the day, there's regular business. They fight about platforms and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
The Massachusetts Republican Party convention is there because the law states that to be on the ballot for a party, you need to get 15% at the party convention, and you need to gather 10,000 or 5,000 signatures, depending on what office you're running for, right? Like, that is what you need to do, and those are due by May. So that's what you need to do. That's what it's there for. It's not there to argue. There's not. They don't adopt Robert's rules. right? So they adopt their own convention rules, which doesn't let anybody do a motion from the floor. There's none of that stuff that happens in other state party conventions because they're supposed to work like clockwork. These people come up, they give their speeches, everybody votes. People didn't know where they were supposed to sit. They were given.
Yes, you're correct.
Their credentials didn't have their section printed on them. That's always happened. Like your credentials have, you are seated in this section with your state Senate district. That was not there. People were sitting in different, they couldn't find where they were supposed to sit.
Or
none of the staff was helpful.
Yep, they couldn't find where to sit or where to vote, as a matter of fact, because some people had to go one floor above, some people were down on the floor in the back. And there was no direction, and there was no. You and I we hung out at the 2016 RNC in Cleveland.
Right.
You know, remember it came with an app, and on the app was different updates. And by the way, there's a new breakout room in this place for this candidate or this subject. There was constant information. The Mass Convention had no information. You were effed. And you're right. It's made to be a fine, well-oiled machine so that you go in there and it kind of like it's the semantics. You know, everything else, the structure and the process is already in place. Well, the structure and process in this place went sideways and collapsed at moment one. And you're right. There was no contingency. It was just a rolling disaster. And I thank God Minogue let the beer flow, because who the hell knows what would have happened.
Oh yeah, half the people would have got that. That was my favorite thing. Like I thought, I shared with our mutual friend Joe Battenfeld a text that a delegate sent to me that he had gotten from Minogue opening up the beer, and I'm like, oh, should I have done that? And then I went and looked at Twitter, and the Minogue team tweeted it or X'd it or whatever you want to call it. They made an X post that said, "The beer is flowing." Like, that was literally what it says. The beer is flowing. Don't leave. The bars are open. Go to any bar and just get booze.
Yes. And that was the beer is flowing not to celebrate. It's if you want to dull the pain that you're obviously all in, now's the time to do it. We have a legal drug that's available on tap in the vestibule.
Yeah. I mean, how much money? I mean, I don't know how much Minogue's worth. There's people telling me that he's worth over $1 billion. If you look up online, it says $200 million. But he's obviously got enough to buy 6,000 people multiple alcoholic beverages.
Oh, yeah. I would have been quadruple fisted if I was in. One of the reasons I wasn't in, Rob, was because I had been emailing them for days looking for a press pass and got zero response. Like, not even a form email back, just nothing. Which is another good sign.
Right. No, it's exactly it. It's the thing that I said earlier. It's the marketing materials from their social media person had not only not the DCU Center, it had a made-up logo for the DCU Center. You and I both know when you do events at an event center, they will give you pictures, and they require you to use their actual logo because the Digital Federal Credit Union paid a ton of money to put their name on the thing and their logo.
And some 21-year-old moron probably assumed that, dude, it's copyrighted.
I hope it was. My understanding is it's not that, and I'm not going to say who it was, but it was somebody that should have known better. But yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So after the Minogue gets trounced by Healy, what do the Republicans do to fix it?
What I think they do is they do like I did. And they get their exit strategy. I tell anybody I can in the state of Massachusetts is the only sane thing to do is to get up and leave and let the state collapse upon itself. I will tell you, you know what's interesting is, we laugh about this and we laugh about competence and we laugh about that stuff, right? And you saw that Lowell, my hometown recently, got like the Best City in Massachusetts award. Also, recently, a bunch of state-level people in Massachusetts from the Democratic Party were complaining about how, even though it is no longer a white majority city, that white males seem to still run the city. I don't know if there's a competent people run the city and they're the best city in the state. I thought that was not to go down that thing, but it's the same type of thing. You know what I mean? It's like, it's when you notice things. It's
Yes.
kind of interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's one thing I certainly loved about being Lowell is that so many people were invested in the community. I mean,
Yeah.
the Lowell Patriots, once they die out, then God knows what happens.
Yeah, when Rita Mercier is gone,
Yeah.
it's over. For those listeners that don't know, Rita Mercier, when I was in high school, so that's 30 some odd years ago, Rita Mercier was on the city council. And she has been the top vote getter for city council citywide ever since. Like there might be one
Yeah.
election that she did it, and those characters. I mean, it's Tom Golden, former state rep, who I know and once asked, why are you a Democrat? And he wasn't really a Democrat, but it was, easy in the city to run as a Democrat.
Well, there's a big theory, Rob, that all the Massachusetts Republicans should just be Democrats. It just change the name, and then we'll vote in the least crazy Democrat every year. And
that's Sue O'Connell. That's Sue O'Connell's, push for freaking.
Oh God!
Did you see that at the end of that? She was using it to push for her ranked choice voting thing, which is
yes,
votes.
Of course, yeah, which is
one person, multiple votes.
Yeah, which is the bullet train to communism, usually, but maybe not in California. Sue O'Connell, who lectures about how to be a proper journalist and a proper citizen, who said, you need to get out and vote. It's your civic responsibility. Just go to vote.org. She used her NBC to lecture people to say to go to vote.org, which leads you to Act Blue, Rob.
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
yeah.
I assume that she's a troll. I assume that her tweet, for somebody who's in person, a really nice person, she is taking up a clueless bit of territory in the Clueless Hall of Fame right now. But actually, let's get to the media, Rob. Nora O'Donnell last night asked Donald Trump a question, which I thought was notable.
The so-called manifesto.
Can you hear that, Rob?
Yes.
It's a stunning thing to read, Mr. President. He appears to reference a motive in it. He writes this, quote, administration officials, they are targets. And he also wrote this, I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people, horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me. I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap from some sick person. I got associated with all stuff that has nothing to do with me. I was totally exonerated. Your friends on the other side of the plate are the ones that were involved with, let's say, Epstein or other things. But I said to myself, I'll do this interview and they'll probably, I read the manifesto, he's a sick person, but you should be ashamed of yourself reading that because I'm not any of those things.
Mr. President,
and
these are the gunman's words.
Excuse me. You shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace. But go ahead, let's finish the interview.
The other thing that he wrote in
the
other thing in the manifesto that.
So, Rob, as you can see right there, she is platforming the manifesto unapologetically. Can you imagine this?
Yeah. No, I mean the guy got radicalized on Blue Sky. I don't know if you've been to Blue Sky, but Blue Sky is everything and worse that they thought that Twitter and Parler and places like that were, that supposedly radicalized Republicans. And of course, we found out that the radicalization of Republicans was paid for by the Southern Poverty Law Center, but that's a different story. But this is normal discussion for these folks. I mean, James Carville saying, I don't want to see him die, I just want to see him suffer, right? You've got all kinds of things going on with these people that it makes absolute sense that she would read it, because that is their narrative. Their narrative is that Donald Trump is a rapist, pedophile, child killer. I don't know, child killer, but that's their absolute nasty narrative that they're doing. And, of course, I think that that's what they would do. And I think that Trump was right to call them out for it, to not have other people do it.
Well, I mean, what would happen at? I mean, you're the managing editor, so it wouldn't happen. What would happen at the Blaze if you decided to platform some manifesto of somebody who wanted to massacre the president in the cabinet, Rob?
Right. Yeah, we wouldn't platform it in saying everything that he said. I think we did report, some of the crazy things.
Sure. Yeah.
Because you have to do that.
Yes. But she was speaking on his behalf, saying address his concerns, because Rob, that these concerns that they have, the guy's just a garden variety Democrat. He really is.
Right.
So, like, what do we do that this is our world now? That this is that the left, the Democrats agree with everything that this guy says, and half of the damn Democrats agree that the Trump and his cabinet should be killed.
That is the mainstream Democratic Party view at this point. I mean, it's disgusting that we've gotten to this place. I mean, I think that the only person that's been, good on this thing has been Fetterman.
Yes.
Which is amazing because, Fetterman, when he came in, before he got bumped on the head, was as crazy and loony and delusional as all these folks, right? He's been, I could see Fetterman running as an independent this year because the next time he's up, because he's polling so horribly with Democrats in his state, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be a Republican, but, even he was like, we need a ballroom because we need the Secret Service to be able to protect everybody that comes into these sort of events.
Well, right. And now you have I know you guys have written about this in the Blaze, but now you have the left saying, oh, Trump now, there was an attempted assassination of people, and now he's making it about his stupid ballroom. It's like, no, that's directly relevant to this story. A ballroom was breached.
Yeah, and that's why he wanted the ballroom in the first place, was so that there could be a secure, when he said it, he said so there could be a secure place for the president to be at events in the nation's capital.
Right.
Because literally was the whole reason for it.
Exactly.
And it's like, yeah, and it's, and what's interesting is this is the same hotel that Reagan got shot at.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely insane. But yeah, the media is going to do that. I don't know if I hate to always bring him up, but he's my BFF, Brian Stelter. But I don't know if you heard what Brian Stelter said this morning, right?
No.
Brian
no.
Stelter, in his CNN reliable source, of course, they make it about the media, right?
Of course.
So he starts it. Whatever you're feeling about Saturday night shooting, it's understandable.
What the frig?
Right. And then he's like, if you were far from the hotel, you might be wondering what all the fuss is about. Consider this. When the president was rushed off stage, there was a total information vacuum. Yes, because somebody just tried to kill the president, and it was about getting his safety.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Oh, you're so right. That's disgusting. He's a disgusting piece. But it's so funny. The critique, too, Rob, of all the way people left. Oh, look at Hegseth running out, trying to look tough. Oh, RFK Jr., they have him going down, crouching down while his wife is made to just walk out after him. It's like, yeah, RFK has an irrational fear of getting shot in the head for some reason, and the left is worried about the form and the semantics of all this.
First, that it was obviously an attack. They were trying to kill. It was obviously their way of trying to take Trump out because they took JD out first.
Yeah,
JD was 2 feet from the freaking edge of the stage. That's why they took JD out first.
Yeah,
it's like it's absolutely the mind, and then there were just the interesting, aftertakes of it. You got members of the media, I think maybe they weren't, but there's that blonde woman just grabbing booze as she's leaving the table. She's just grabbing wine all over the place, doing all that. And then you've got Woodward, who's just casually sitting there, like finishing his dinner.
Yeah,
there's absolute chaos all around him. Just you got Dana White, who comes out and says, "This is the best thing I've ever seen." It's like, what?
Yeah. And Fetterman was like waiting for his entree. He didn't like move an inch. Fetterman did not.
Right.
I got no problem with the lady stealing the bottles. The only thing that I have a problem with is that they would judge us so harshly if we ever did that.
Oh, I know.
Because there are betters, and also. The thing, and also afterwards when they showed them all in their ball gowns, like in the White House press briefing room and doing their jobs, and they said, "Look at these people. They came straight from a banquet right over here, and they're right back at work." It's like, yeah, you were at an event to give yourself Oscars for being awesome at reporting, and so now you're reporting. What's the big heroism thing?
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And but is it going to take him actually getting killed for them to tamp down the rhetoric? Is that what's going to do it?
I don't
Or are
think
they going to think that, oh, we did it, so now we can just do it?
I don't think it tamps down. I think if he gets shot and killed, then they transfer this psychosis to somebody else. It'll go to Vance.
Right, because they've always done it. I mean, they don't understand that the reason that their stuff, even if Trump could be a full-fledged Nazi. He's not.
Right.
He wouldn't be going to war for Israel if he was.
Right.
But he sits. They sit there and call him a Nazi. They called Romney a Nazi.
Yeah.
They had that ad.
Yep.
Where they took in the Scott Brown race, where because Rush Limbaugh was supporting Scott Brown, they found a picture and made it grainy of Rush Limbaugh like gently holding his hand up. And up in Maine, where you're on the Maine Wire,
yeah,
you're the managing editor of the Maine Wire now. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You've got an actual guy with a Nazi tattoo leading and probably going to beat Susan Collins.
Plattner, yep. Yeah, hopefully he won't beat her. Hopefully, she's a bit of a warrior up there, but we'll see. But you're right. Yeah, no, they're just simply gone. You're right. They called Romney a Nazi. I used to live in Melrose, and I used to do fat camp with a bunch of middle-aged women, and I remember the day after, it was a Scott Brown Elizabeth Warren debate. The day after, in the morning, they said, "Tom, I hope you're not still supporting Scott Brown." And I said, "Yeah, I am." And they said, "I can't believe you. He supports Romney's war on women." What the fuck? Like, where did this come from? War on women?
Because he put women in a binder.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, but what he was actually doing, because he's an idiot and he talks in, venture capital speak, he was actually compiling a list of qualified women so he could have more women in his cabinet.
Yes.
And they made that a bad thing.
Yeah, they were too busy at that point, Rob, heaping praise on Harvey Weinstein to think it through. Oh, these people. But yeah, it just goes to show you, I mean, they're ghouls. They're ghouls. I mean, you work for a guy who, if something happened to him, half the country would openly on neighborhood Facebook pages celebrate. It's like, and think they're really good people for doing it.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane.
Oh, Rob, we got to get together, man. When are you coming back to the Bay State? Or don't come back. Whatever. Don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say for a funeral, maybe. Although I do in my county collection quest, I have never been, because I am not hoity-toity. I have never been to Martha's Vineyard or Nantucket, so I do need to get back to Massachusetts to go to Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket. And I do miss, for those of you looking to leave the Commonwealth, the things that you will miss are steamer clams. Can't get those in many places without special order.
Mm-hmm.
You will miss whole belly fried clams.
Ooh, yeah, those.
Not a lot of places that do that.
Hey, Rob, if you go up to Marky's and the one across from it, do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know that you can get just cups of drawn butter and just like put everything in drawn butter?
Yeah.
I've just never used it for anything but lobster until like my brother showed me. You can just get 18 cups of it and use it on everything. I was like, my goodness. Oh, that's gorgeous.
Cardiac arrest. Now, were you Marky's or Brown's people when you were a kid?
We didn't. When I was a kid, we never went that far up because I was from Winchester, so we went as far as the place in Ipswich. What's that called?
Okay, yeah, we were Marky's people because they had alcohol and you didn't bring your own.
That's right.
It's very interesting. You were either a Marky's family, which was the upscale one, or a Brown's family.
I like
my
Marky's.
grandfather. My mother's father was a Browns guy. We were my dad's family were Marky's people. So I had never been into Browns until I was like 30 years old.
Oh, that's interesting.
We would wait in the line at Marky's, even if there was no line at Browns.
It is interesting.
Because we were Marky's people.
Yeah, I like Marky's. I like their bar, and I like the atmosphere, and I like that body of water more. It's on the other side of the street. But I do know people who make a whole day out of like tailgating at Browns, and like there are ways to do it. So I like them both. What I haven't found up here is the greatest pizza in the world, and I'm surprised. I'm a Tony and Ann's guy. In Drake it
in Chelton.
Yeah. So I like that, and that's my first like beach pizza kind of stuff, like sugary.
Yeah.
but I can't find like kick-ass pizza around here that's like Italian, thin crust, full of gorgeous oil.
And see, that's not what that's because you're in Greek pizza land, and I'm a Greek pizza guy. Like Jimmy's and Drake it. If I go back, I do two things. The other thing that you can't get is good Chinese appetizers anywhere else in the country. But
interesting. Yeah,
like the poo-poo platter doesn't exist outside of the 6 New England states.
That's a shame because good boneless spare ribs that are nice and fatty. Oh, and crab rangoon.
Poo-poo for 2 for 1. That is the order.
Yeah,
the poo-poo for 2 for 1. But yeah, no. So that's but no, you gotta be in the Greek pizza thing. Speaking of Greeks, very upset the Olympia shut down in Lowell.
That's awful. That was such great people too.
That rice was crack.
Oh,
absolute
gorgeous.
Crack.
That's a shame.
It is.
Yeah.
Nothing's like it was, so get out of the state.
Yeah, no kidding, dude. You're right about that. You're right. Nothing's like it was. Yeah, we unfortunately are imprisoned here for the next few years, but then we'll see what we can do.
That is the problem about buying a house when there were 2% interest rates. I understand many such cases.
Yeah, and one we had to de-lead too, which is problematic. All right, Robert, I appreciate it, my friend. He is at The Blaze. He's the managing editor of The Blaze. You guys all know The Blaze. They're an institution, and Rob Eno has helped make it an institution. And it's our loss here in the decrepit state of Massachusetts, but I appreciate you stopping by and showing us what life could be, Rob.
Thank you very much for having me back on.
So that was Rob Eno. It's funny. I'll try to isolate it later, but Alice actually, in the middle of that interview, came up here while I'm talking to Rob on video. It was a Zoom video, which just doesn't work with OBS, which is what we use to play this stuff. But she came up here, and because we've been trying to talk to our insurance people forever, and we can't get them at all, she got through, and so she actually put me on the phone. That's what, if you caught that. It's pretty funny. And Rob was good because he just filled during the whole thing. Although it was like really kind of rude for me to not tell him. It was a pre-record. I could have just told him. But he was a pro. I did explain to him afterwards. He asked what was going on. He thought that I was getting divorce papers or something. Labonte's in Thompson, Connecticut. 3 hot dogs. Any toppings for $1.75. Solid slice in Havel. Where, Steve? I went to a Lawton's. Where's Lawton's? Because there was one. I think I've been to a great one in Lowell where they're like $1 or something. But I miss hot dogs that are like full of stuff. I don't think we really have them. I've dropped the ball up here. But let me get back to politics for a moment because there's more audio I want to play. I mean, the media has been like ridiculous, just awful. Shameful, pathetic, and Democrats too. At the end of the day, this Trump shooter, the guy who wanted to shoot Trump and his cabinet, he's just a standard Democrat now. These people are nuts. These people are crazy, and that's what we're dealing with right now. And it's the everyday people on the left are nuts. Oh, there's a Bill Maher cut. I gotta play. It's not for today. I'll play it tomorrow. Remind me the Bill Maher cut. But listen to this. Let's see. We should start with here's Norah O'Donnell on 60 Minutes last night. Can you imagine she's asking this?
The so-called manifesto is a stunning thing to read.
She has him answer allegations in the manifesto.
The so-called manifesto is a stunning thing to read, Mr. President. He appears to reference a motive in it. He writes this, quote, administration officials, they are targets. And he also wrote this. I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people. Horrible people. Yeah, he did write that.
Trump is absolutely right. Like, what are you doing reading the psycho's freaking manifesto and throwing it at Trump? They just tried to shoot him and his wife and everybody there. It's like, what a effing ghoul. These people are psychos.
I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me. I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap from some sick person. I got associated with all stuff that has nothing to do with me. I was totally exonerated. Your friends on the other side of the plate are the ones that were involved with, let's say, Epstein or other things. But I said to myself, I'll do this interview, and they'll probably, I read the manifesto, he's a sick person, but you should be ashamed of yourself reading that, because I'm not any of those things.
Mr. President,
and I
these
was
are the
never,
gunman's words.
Excuse me. You shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace. But go ahead, let's finish the interview.
The other thing that he wrote in...
So anyway, yeah, perfect. That's fine. He should absolutely tear her apart. She's a terrible human being. All she is a tiny but buxom, hot Irish girl with the best looks, or who had the best looks in TV at one point. And that's why she's doing this. She's an a-hole. Here's The View.
First and foremost, God bless law enforcement, Secret Service, D.C. Metro Police. They acted swiftly, and they neutralized the threat. I don't think people realized in the moment the threat was neutralized well before he got near the ballroom. But when you hear shots ring out, I can just imagine in this climate, in this culture we live in, how terrifying it is. My first thought was to text Brian, honestly, because he was there on behalf of the team. I was worried for him. He was telling me he and colleagues were under the table just trying to get information from people they were texting about what was happening, because it was completely chaotic. I just am grateful. Just think, had Secret Service not jumped in, this could have been a mass casualty event. Yeah. We've been to this event many times. There are thousands of people crammed into a ballroom. You are inches away from people around you. So we could be having a very different discussion today. I know we're going to talk a lot about this, so I won't.
Yeah, we're talking about, so they're attacking Pete Hegseth's wife for wearing a Temu dress.
But we have a problem with political violence in this country.
No.
It is not right that it almost becomes like, okay, I'm scrolling to the next thing on Instagram. Of course there was.
So anyway, the gist of this is the Ana Navarro says, well, it's good. Now we know how kids feel in school. I almost called up Kirk today to talk about this show. Maybe I will for tomorrow, see if he wants to. EEI has a new show starting. It's a new... WEI is the big sports station in Boston. They used to have something called the Big Show, which was the best PM drive sports show, maybe one of the best radio shows ever, with Glenn Ordway. They whacked that show because management is moronic at that stupid station. And so now they've brought in Rich Schertenlieb, who is part of Toucher and Rich. Ken Laird, who I don't know, but he was Jerry and Kirk's producer. Smart guy, and he's also... management, and he's a good conduit to sales, which is probably why he's there. And Ted Johnson is a Patriots apologist. And there's the team. I just think it's very funny because the other team, Fitzy, who we talked about last week, and the other guy got tossed. Of course, so they were giving Vrabel trouble, and the new team, I assume, won't. These EEI, that station it got interesting with Fitzy 2 weeks ago, but it's no longer, it's just now a shell of a thing. It's just a sales project now. It was always heading that way. And when they didn't move quick enough and get on the FM stick, the thing started to crumble. And then they whacked the best morning show in Boston, Kirk and Callahan. And it's over. It is over. Like I used to, I wanted to be in radio for a long time, and when I got into radio, that was like, I was thrilled to even go in the area where the on-air people were. I'm talking about when I was a receptionist. But my past got me into everywhere, and to go into where the on-air people were was just it was crazy, because you'd walk into the right, there's the Big Show in Ordway, and then to the left, there's Howie doing his, I'm like, oh my God, this is like, what a job, even though God knows what I was making, $15 an hour, if that. But it was like the magic of the place, and to walk into the studio and near those, it was just like crazy, and that's gone now. I didn't even have, even when I was at WTIC, when I liked being in the studio, but it was driving a classic car. And you walk through the halls, and you walk by all these places. You walk by empty offices that used to be thriving with people. Used to be promotions people and marketing people and creative people and graphic designers and sales and other folks, and like they're all gone. And there's not even engineering departments in most of these places. Like it's just empty rooms, and out in the parking lots are empty, or just old battle wagon radio trucks with Marty antennas on the top of them that nobody uses anymore. A lot of them don't even work. They just sit out there. It's like, oh. It's gone. It's gone. I get more excitement and thrill from being in on the Main Wire show every day at 4 p.m. We'll probably expand that a little bit because that's like alive and growing, and it's like other than like I would not want a radio. If somebody offered me, some dude reached out to me and he was like, "You probably saw I got a big promotions in the trades." I'm like, the trades? You think I'm reading about freaking talk radio? One ever? Two in the trades? Like, what's a trade? And he's like, well, I want you to send your demo reel. Like, shut the... And I said, oh, okay. And I just never did. Like, I don't want a job at your AM radio station. Get me the F out of here, dude. That's like, it is over. But yeah, I know it's an FM station. And if you can't talk about the Red Sox, like at a time like now when they suck, and you can't talk about them because John Henry essentially owns the station, and you can't talk about the Patriots in an interesting way, you just have to kiss ass. Like, who wants to hear freaking ESPN-style sports talk radio? Oh, please. Terrible. Terrible. And then the AM station in Boston, WRKO, has a morning host who's a freaking moron. And I try. Sometimes I'll say, okay, I'm just going to give it a try and see. And then I'm like, wow, this guy, and nobody in the station knows what a good morning show used to sound like 25 years ago. They don't know. None of these people came from being talk radio fans in the 80s and 90s. None of these things know any, like, they don't know anything. They don't listen to this. Like, it's over. Okay, it's over. Let me find that. Where's this chat? Again, do you think he was referring to you? Yeah, I know. Tom, is there still video of you and Rob playing? Oh, is there? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter, right? Do you want me? I can turn it off. Turn Rob off. I think I can turn Rob off. Tom. Okay. Let's see. Eno. I'll get rid of Eno. And now just Tom. Of course, it's all just black now. Tom Burn Barrel. Oh, here we go. Ready? Here we go. Here's me. It'll show up in a bit for you guys. Oh yeah, I wanted to play more audio though. Can't wait for Tom to fill in for Kuhner. I will not be filling in for Kuhner. I'm not getting up at 3 a.m. to do that. It's like if I could do it from here, maybe I would do it. I'm a lot better than him. I'm sorry, I am. And I'm not like one of these guys who talks me up all the time. But I'm a lot better than him. And I couldn't do his stupid type of radio. It's too stupid. Route 97 in Haverhill. It's the spot where the girl next door used to be. Girl next door? My dad splashes. My dad owns part of Pearl Hot Dogs. Or did. Yeah, I got them for the kids and they ate them. But I got to try it. The Labonte's, yeah, it's too far for me. Okay. Let me see. I want to play some more stuff. And then we've got some chat messages, too. Sorry, I'll be Shattuck, but she was not coming on the air. Taylor Lorenz. Who cares? Yeah. She just loves all the shooters who shoot people. Here's Hakeem Jeffries today.
As it relates to anything that has been said, certainly as it relates to the comment related to maximum warfare everywhere, all the time, in connection with the redistricting battle that Republicans launched. I stand by it. You can continue to criticize me for it. I don't give a damn about your criticism.
There we go. Once again, just a thug who shouldn't probably be in Congress, but that's what he does. Here's a good one. This is Great Gutfeld.
Terrorism that you say, well, now we'll never know. What could it possibly be?
Well, they're running away from this story because they know they got their fingerprints all over it. I disagree with Harold with all due respect. A call for unity is not for us. We don't need it.
He called for it, though.
No. I'm just saying that it's not for me to hear. It's for your side. We don't need it because it's only a one-way thing. You mentioned some examples like the Pelosi thing, which is a mental illness thing. The Wisconsin thing, we still aren't sure what the hell happened there. The Whitmer thing was a plot. Who created the plot? That would take an entire special to go under. I disagree with Jesse. This guy did hear voices. They were Tim Waltz's, they were Ted Lieu's, they were Brandon Johnson's, they were CNN's, they were The View, they were MS Now. Okay. I think this is a helpful assassination attempt because it is the first one to show that you can be radicalized by liberal smugness. If you read his posts and if you read his manifesto, it sounds like every smarmy, sanctimonious, self-satisfied pronouncement from an asshole like Brandon Johnson, like Waltz, like Lieu, the people who think they know better than you. This guy was not a crank. He was not deranged. Don't buy into that narrative because it lets these pompous asses off. He didn't do this because, as Jesse said, he didn't have voices in his head. He was just following orders. He was operating on a filter that said Trump was Hitler, and therefore it would be immoral if you didn't take Hitler out. So his filter is actually making him logical. He's the sanest one in the group because he took them at their word. When MS Now says Trump is Hitler, he's the sensible one. He went out and went after Hitler. Now, if you told him he was wrong, would he listen? No, because you know this guy. You've run into this guy.
I like it, Splash.
They think they're right. This is the big point. The biggest problem, and I don't include you in this, Harold, the problem with the left is the lack of humility. This is what has always bothered people on the right. We believe in a higher power. We could be wrong. But for for the left, they can have ideas which turn into belief, which turn into an ideology, and there's no breaks to it, i.e. a higher power that might say, you know what? You could be wrong. This is a guy that when you read his stuff, he is right on everything. When you read his posts, when you read his... And then if something disappoints him, it's everybody's fault. This is exactly the same kind of person you run into at BLM, at Antifa, at any protest. Your liberal friend who thinks the world is out to get them, and yet they sit at home and they do nothing and they blame Trump. This event exposes that. It also exposes the myopic egoism of the media who, in the run-up to the dinner, said, you know what, it's really about a threat against the press. And who brought on the threat? Well, it's this orange demon, Trump. But it turns out the guy who's getting shot at isn't the press. It's the orange demon that you have turned into a Hitlerian figure. He's the one facing the actual threat, when all he's trying to do is what's best for the country. You may disagree with it, but you are the guys that created the rhetoric. So I think that this was a helpful assassination attempt because, A, nobody got hurt. I'm not going to go with the conventional thing. Thank God, thank God, thank God. You can't write this off as a deranged person, and that is the lesson. You can learn how rhetoric turns into action, how there are security lapses in a hotel. How the hell was he not shot? Did he just trip? I mean, the Hilton, Paris Hilton is harder to get into than the DC Hilton. and I think the biggest thing here, and it kind of goes back to COVID in a way. It's how scientific minds, this guy was an engineer, can do evil because it's unfettered to a higher power. He was making the decisions.
Untethered.
He had control, just like Fauci, just like everybody that tells you, you are wrong, I know better. That was the whole point of his screed. When you read it, didn't sound crazy to me. It sounded like a guy saying, dude, I'm smarter than you are. It's a Unabomber.
But I'll tell you this, there have been attempts on presidents.
Yeah, well done, Greg. Well said. It sounds like he borrowed from Tom Shattuck, to be honest. Let's be honest. All right, let's go to the chat. I remember when Greg referred to Jennifer Welsh as the ugliest bee I ever seen. Yeah, he's great. He is great. His Twitter used to be great. I don't know if it still is, but it used to be great. Long before he was all that funny, his Twitter was funny. All right, here we go.
Hey, Billy from Manchester.
Hey, Billy.
Wow, what a re-entry into the burn barrel atmosphere for Alice Shattuck. I mean, a riveting mass GOP talk, a party that is going to be extinct in the next 10 years in that state. And we're talking about this. This is her reentry. My goodness, what is happening to this show? Can you just put her back up in the corner like Norman Bates' mother, please, in a rocking chair, and just have her stare at everything? Unbelievable. Just horrible.
Alice looks really pretty. Man, I do miss looking at her when she's over there. She looks so pretty. She's having a really pretty time. I'm telling you, it's just weird. Like, she's more beautiful now than she was at 23 years old. She is. Back then, of course, she was young and right out of the wrapper. But she's prettier now. And so it's almost a distraction. I almost called another friend of mine, a woman who's married to a friend of mine, and asked her, I may do that for tomorrow's show, actually, a wife of a celebrity, and ask if I should lay off on the compliments. Okay. Alice talks. That's why she came on, because she was excited about local politics, and there you go. That's her, man. That's her thing. I want her on, by the way, and I know that, Allison called yesterday and said, you got to have her on. I know I got to have her on, but that doesn't really help because I want her on. She's not going to come on. It's 10 hours per week of her life now that she's now gotten back, and where she can, like, be with kids and do mom stuff and, like house stuff and stuff that she wants. And as much as I want her back because I love talking to her, it's better for her to not be back. It just is. So, like, what am I going to do?
Yesterday during your show, I was running errands. So whenever I stopped, I would try to make a comment. But thanks for having Jess Machado on. I tuned into her live feed while she was at the convention, and things were going swimmingly, and then they weren't. And, like Alice said, it could be the lack of money they have, which is true. Or just
well, another thing about that, Dr. Cheswick, is, okay, so they don't have any money. Why is their office still on Merrimack Street? Like, why is your office in downtown Boston in a swanky neighborhood? I know it's not the nicest neighborhood, but it's brownstone-y enough. It's down, like, move the office out. Move it to Hyde Park or something, somewhere crappy. Like, no offense, Trish. But I know that you're over there somewhere, or grew up over there somewhere, or knew the Mastros over there somewhere. But, like, just move it. Move to freaking Cummings Park in Woburn. Go. Save money.
The people who organize that stuff were picked off to different campaigns. So it just falls to someone lower who doesn't really have an idea. But anyway, Tom, I was thinking about your situation at the hotel.
Yeah.
And if I was your attorney, I would still be drafting my lawsuit, because to have a hotel employee go into a room of minors who obviously weren't making any noise, they had to wake one up to answer the door. There would be someone curb stomped if that were me. I give you all the credit on the planet for holding it in. I know you're seething. Take a breath, then attack.
Here, man. I thought about that too. I won't get into it, but Cheswick, I appreciate that. You're kind of reinforcing where I am.
Hey, Billy from Manchester. Well, the Shaddocks strike again. Yeah. This entitled family, this monstrous family is just wreaking havoc at a Hampton Inn this time.
Yeah.
It really is unbelievable. The handicap spot with the ATM, bringing the Mac into the movie theater.
Was there a handicap spot with an ATM? I don't think so. I think Alice just parked and left a baby in the car near the ATM.
The IHOP, bringing in your own Starbucks at the IHOP because that coffee's too bad for you. You can't.
That's what Alice does. We did that. She did that this weekend too. Yesterday, Sunday. Oh, IHOP is so freaking good. Oh.
You got to have your Starbucks matcha. Yep. It's unbelievable. Now causing problems at the hotel. These kids are a menace. I 100% agree with the family who made the complaint. If they listen to this show, they can hear these kids screaming there and just causing chaos.
Not a bad
on
idea.
A show that's supposed to have a padded room, apparently.
Not a bad.
It's just unbelievable. I hope there's a lawsuit. I want to be a character witness. I think you should go to jail. 54 seconds.
How dare you? How dare you?
Hi, Steve from Merrimack. Dr. Cheswick, I got to give Tom a little slack on the Molly Ringwald thing because it popped up on my feeds too that same day, and I thought it was new.
Thank you, Steve.
And apparently my mind is going the way of Tom's in that I did not remember the discussion of Molly Ringwald previously. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. I'll take your apology, Dr. Cheswick.
Billy from Manchester again. You know, I can't get over this Hampton Inn, disruption that you guys caused. It's typical too, is hearing you guys claim that you did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong.
By the way, the record show also no bar.
The kids were quiet. The kids were sleeping. You know, a family, the dog. You bring a dog to a hotel too. Unbelievable.
You had to.
I have family members like this, and they overstay their welcome. They do what they
Dogs are welcome at the hotel. Billy, what do you want me to say? They're welcome there.
They think they're the king and queen of the world, and their families are the little princes and princesses.
Well, let me tell you one thing. I think I've made it very clear that I do not think that. I do not think that whatsoever. They're not, psychos or felons, but no, I do not think they're angels.
And the other thing I caught too was how Alice had to say, "Oh, Tom, I listened to your show last week a couple of times on your show," completely just disinfecting herself from this. It's just unbelievable. Anyways,
she
52 seconds.
Yeah, she show divorced me, so I'm a show divorcee. I don't like it.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
You playing the sound cuts of the CNN people and I guess it was ABC and other, recounting how the shooting affected them and how they're all traumatized by the multiple, assassination attempts against our president. It just reminds me of the great movie Broadcast News. And there's a scene. Albert Brooks is so great in that movie, but he's got a great line where a bunch of people are doing a similar thing around them. And Albert Brooks goes, yes, let's never forget, we're the real story. And I think that just sums up these people. Thank you.
Steve, I think Broadcast News came out when I was working on the cruise ship. So back then, I think I saw it about 3,000 times. But it's been at least 35 years since I've seen it. And I'm going to watch Broadcast News, maybe even tonight. I miss it, and it's been too long. That's a great point. Albert Brooks is a freaking genius. Who knew that his brother was Super Dave? Did you know that? Did everybody already know that?
Hey, Billy from Manchester.
Hey, Billy.
I love Tom's solution is to upgrade someone at a Hampton Inn and offer them a free breakfast where everyone gets a free breakfast and all the rooms are the same.
Is that true?
12 seconds.
Is that true? No, well, I mean, I would say that when I worked at the front desk at a hotel where everything wasn't the same. This is the Parker House. You had rooms from from like 1879, or maybe a little newer, and then some that had just been redone. So there were different ones. But yeah, no, it's. I was saying that there are things that you can do, but like in our case, this is more invasive than that. Alice did write a letter that I'm supposed to go over today. I haven't done it yet.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
I gotta tell you, with the Hampton Inn story, I don't know if I was the only listener, but for most of that story, I was Team Hampton Inn.
How dare you?
And I'll tell you why. Wherever Tom goes, trouble follows. I have never heard of a human being in my life pulled over more by the police for car-related shit than Tom. Tom and Alice have both been called out by their neighbors in that beautiful bucolic town north of Boston for children playing in the yard by the roadside.
No, hold on. So that was not neighbors who called us out for that. Those were people driving by. Those weren't neighbors. Neighbors have called us out for our dog being loose and mauling one of the other dogs, or trying to. And neighbors have called us out for having, when we had all the guinea fowl and the guinea hens, because they made a lot of noise. But those are the only two real callings out, I think. So, yeah, the neighbors, those weren't neighbors. Those are people driving by, busybodies, who did that.
a few times.
Yes.
So forgive me if I have to lend some credence to the complaint from underneath that there was some stomping going on. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But the more I listened, the more I empathized with you guys, and I think that woman should be shot. And I think that a summary execution of all the employees of that Hampton should occur post haste. Thank you.
That was great, Steve. Yeah. No, there's definitely, and I am a scallywag, there's no doubt about that, and I am not a good character, but Alice pretty much is, with some exceptions. I think that she would call for, probably, if she were queen of the country and an authoritarian, I think she would probably have, who's about, like, Derek Mulvaney, Dylan Mulvaney. I think probably she would have him executed pretty quickly and publicly, probably by lions in a coliseum. Yeah, but I am of iffy character. I will say that Gary the Guyper, this has been a busy season for him. I'm not proud of that. I am proud of it. I'm not proud of it. But Gary likes the possessions, and I've always marveled at how lovely the little IHOP coffee cups are, and I've always thought, wouldn't it be great to have one? And then Gary produced one from. Wasn't me, but anyway. So yes, I am flawed.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
Nora O'Donnell, whom I still find extremely attractive.
Well, okay, Steve. She has lost a lot off the fastball. I saw her at Scott Brown's inauguration. Not inauguration. The night is the night he won, and she was standing on a little milk crate in a tiny dress, and she was a freaking showstopper. But it's been years.
I think we're the same age. She's quality. I'm not going to lie to you. She should be drummed out of the news business.
Correct.
For that incredibly ridiculous question to Trump, where she's actually reading from the manifesto. How come the news media covers with glee the manifesto of a would-be presidential assassin, if it's Donald Trump? But there's so many tranny assassins and, other crazy people out there who where the American public is not ready to receive their manifestos.
Right. Yeah.
I find it absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
And I think Trump's outrage was totally on point.
Yeah.
What a jerk.
Yeah, totally.
But I would marry her if I were single. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, I stepped on you at the end there. Steve, let me see if I can dial it back. Hold on.
But I would marry her if I were single. Thank you.
I understand that, dude. I would marry a psycho, evil, ghoulish woman in a second. Some say I did. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Where's little Albie when I need her? Right now is when I need her. Where's the thing? Enough. Okay. Enough. Burn barrel open tool. That's not it. Oh, here's Eno. It's going to be under Eno. Yeah, there it is. Sorry about that, guys. All right, thanks, everybody. I really appreciate it. I'll have to do something to make up for that non-Patreon thing yesterday. But I'm out of time for tonight, and I've got the kids, and Alice is on the way to get our other kid from Fauntleroy. So I'm all done. Thanks. I really appreciate you sticking with me. And I'm going to try all sorts of different things. So let me know. I'll take feedback, obviously, but I want to do interesting stuff that I like and you like, and I appreciate you hanging around.
C'est la vie.